On the day my fiancé got engaged to the real heiress, I once thought about driving straight into the venue and dying together with them. But just as that maddening impulse surged up, my phone kept ringing non-stop. When I picked up, it was the hospital. "Miss Jessica, you're pregnant." The engine died. I sat frozen in place. Half an hour later, joyful music echoed from the banquet hall. I started the car, made a U-turn, and drove to the airport. From then on, as everyone wished, the fake heiress disappeared from the capital city. I went to Nanshire, 1,000 miles away. After almost dying, I managed to survive and gave birth to my daughter, my own flesh and blood. And I never contacted any of them again. Until 4 years later, when they all appeared before me once more. Chapter 1. The first time I saw Oliver again after 4 years was at the kindergarten gate. I had just picked up Sophia when a mom beside me suddenly leaned over. "Sophia's mom, look at that man across the street. He looks like that singer, what's his name?" I followed the direction of her hand, and saw him. "Oliver." She slapped her forehead. "Right, Oliver." I pulled my gaze back. "Don't know him." She looked surprised. "You don't listen to music?" "Oliver, the most popular singer-songwriter these past few years. He's won so many awards. And honestly, his face looks a bit like yours, you two are both natural beauties." I laughed, shook my head, and continued walking while holding Sophia's hand. "Jessica." Unexpectedly, his voice came from behind. I ignored it and kept walking forward. "Jessica." Sophia lifted her head. "Mommy, is that uncle behind us calling you? Why is he calling you Jessica?" I shook my head with a smile. "He's mistaken me for someone else." But when we reached the parking lot and I was about to open the car door, my arm was suddenly grabbed. When I turned around, it was Oliver, breathless. "Jessica, you're actually alive." His words were sharp and mean, just like always. Maybe he had run too fast, because the rims of his eyes were faintly red. Chapter 2. I dropped Sophia off at the neighbor's place. When I came downstairs, Oliver had his hands in his pockets. "Why are you living in such a shabby place? Where is your real home?" "I'll go take a look." I shook my head. "There's no need." For years ago, it was he who said his only sister was Amelia. It was also he who said that calling someone like me his sister made him sick. When Diego kicked me out and Luis despised me, when I had nowhere else to go, I once thought about seeking help from my little brother. On a snowy day, I stood in front of his company building the entire night, nearly frozen stiff. But in the end, what I waited for was him saying that his greatest wish was that I had never existed. If you had never been born, Amelia wouldn't have been switched at birth, and she wouldn't have suffered so much. Sister, what a joke. Since you can't be a real heiress anymore, you're using blood ties to cling to me. I'm not acknowledging someone like you as my sister. That was when I understood that no matter how good I was to him, he hated me because of Amelia. Even now, he still looked at me with that scrutinizing gaze, brows furrowed. "That child, is it Luis's? You ran away just to have his baby?" I stayed silent for a moment. "She's my child alone." He let out a mocking smirk. "Jessica, that kid looks exactly like him. Do you think I'm blind? You don't honestly believe secretly giving birth would win him back, right? You're such a hopeless romantic. How ridiculous. How stupid. I already said, she's my child alone." I cut him off. "I never thought about returning to the capital, and I never planned to use a child to fight your sister for Luis. You can relax, there's no need to corner me like this. Just like you said back then, besides blood, we're strangers. I'm not interested in your life now, and I'd appreciate it if you didn't point fingers at mine." He froze. "If you don't have anything else, you can leave." I turned away. "Wait." He grabbed me again. He opened his mouth, then closed it. You. I frowned. "What? Why did you leave back then?" I stared at him quietly. "You were a pampered socialite who couldn't do anything. So what if people said a few things about you? You ran away like those women who get pregnant and flee. If I hadn't run into you, how long did you plan to keep living like this? And these 4 years?" He paused. How did you even survive?" Chapter 3. I looked at the corners of his eyes, turning slightly red again. Probably from anger. He was likely shocked that I was still alive, and my being alive was a threat to Amelia's happy life. How did I survive? Someone traded their life for mine. But I had no reason to tell him that. The old me, delicate and pampered, never touching even spring snow, like a beautiful daughter vine clinging to others. The me now, no longer cries or begs anyone for support. When he saw me stay silent, he grew anxious. No, seriously, why are you acting so slow and weird now? Don't tell me that massive earthquake in Nanshire years ago rattled your brain. Running off to some godforsaken place like this, getting hit by an earthquake serves you right. Just then, a neighbor passed by and greeted me. Jessica, haven't cooked yet? I smiled. I'm about to. Oliver froze. You should go, I said. But he grabbed me tightly. I brushed his hand away, enunciating each word clearly. How I live, Oliver, has nothing to do with you. Chapter 4. Oliver is a celebrity. There's no way he'd dare grab me and make a scene in public. I went upstairs, picked up Sophia, and through the stairwell window, I saw him still standing downstairs, dazed. He had never cared about me before. Now he seemed melancholic, maybe just unused to my coldness. After all, 4 years ago, when I learned about this poor talented boy's musical dream, I used almost all of my connections in the capital's high society just to find him a chance to get on stage. Even the agency that manages him today is the best one I found for him. He was my younger brother, had suffered a lot, and I wanted him to have a good future. But this devotion of mine, he twisted it into accusations. He thought I was scheming, trying to use him to alienate Amelia and make her suffer. Mommy, that uncle from today, is he your family? I paused for a moment, then smiled and touched Sophia's head. No. Why would you think that? I was just guessing. You look alike. Family. Diego's face suddenly surfaced in my mind. I used to believe that blood ties or not, Diego would always be my brother. But 4 years ago, when he held the fallen Amelia in his arms, the look he gave me was full of rage. Jessica, you've disappointed me too much. From today on, my family has no place for you. And I no longer have you as my sister. My sister is only Amelia. I had cried and grabbed his pant leg, telling him I wasn't the one who pushed Amelia, begging him not to abandon me. But he kicked me away and left without looking back, carrying Amelia in his arms. I shook my head. That man is not Mommy's family. She looked a little disappointed. I thought Mommy had more family besides Uncle. I smiled and tapped her nose. For Mommy, having you and your uncle was already enough. But Uncle is gone now, she pouted. I really miss him. I understood how she felt. But simple disappointment is still better than gaining something only to lose it again, depending on someone only to be torn away later. That kind of pain cuts into the bone. I've lived it, and I won't let my daughter live it again. I just didn't expect, the next day, I would see Diego. Chapter 5. Sophia developed a fever in the middle of the night. I took her to the hospital. The viral infection was quite aggressive, and she needed to be hospitalized for treatment. I didn't sleep the entire night. Early the next morning, the fever finally subsided. But she looked exhausted and weak, so I carried her home on my back. On the way, I bought some meat and vegetables from a street vendor. After paying, the things I bought were suddenly taken by a hand with prominent knuckles. I froze. When I looked up, through the hazy morning mist, I saw Diego's face. A night without sleep left my mind blank. I blurted out brother in a daze before realizing he had long forbidden me from calling him that. His family was not someone I could afford to offend. Back then, to punish me for bullying Amelia, Diego needed only one sentence to make the entire capital's elite blacklist me. Mr. Diego, I corrected myself immediately. I was trying to figure out why he suddenly appeared in Nanshire and naturally didn't notice the brief ugly expression on his face. I'll carry this for you, he said softly. No need. I hurried to retrieve the bags from his hand, but my steps wobbled. Sophia let out a soft whimper on my back. Don't force yourself, Jessica. He grabbed my arm, stopping me from taking the bags back. I'll take you and the child home. Chapter 6. Jessica. It had been a long time since Diego called me that way. His parents were abroad most of the time, and the old me was practically raised by Diego alone. Back when he treated me as his real sister, Diego really did spoil me. Someone once asked him if he wasn't afraid I'd cause trouble since he indulged me so much. He simply narrowed his eyes halfway and said, "What if she does? If she wants to cause trouble, let her. No matter how big it gets, I'll cover her." But later, Amelia returned home. In the beginning, he still told me that I would always be his sister too. But whenever Amelia picked on me, again and again, he always told me to endure it. "She has suffered too much, Jessica. Just let her have her way." He said we had to make it up to her. I didn't want to make things difficult for him. He had been my brother for more than 20 years. I wanted him to be happy. So I gave in, again and again. Until he finally believed Amelia's false accusations against me without hesitation. Only then did I understand. I saw him as a brother, but he had long stopped seeing me as a sister. And when he withdrew all the kindness he had ever shown me, when I sank into the mud under everyone's condemnation, that was when I realized how foolish I had been to rely on him all along. We sat in silence. It had been a long time since I'd ridden in a luxury car like a Maybach. I felt uncomfortable, shrinking to the side while holding Sophia, trying to figure out why Diego was here. Did Oliver tell him? Was he afraid I would harm Amelia, and thus came overnight to confirm it? What would he do to me? Punish me for secretly giving birth to Luis's child? I didn't know. I couldn't figure it out. My head hurt terribly, and I held Sophia tighter, not noticing the deep longing in his gaze. "Jessica," I lifted my head. The corners of his eyes had gained many wrinkles. "For years ago, we all thought that I died?" "Yes, I know," I cut in. "Actually, you could have just assumed I was dead. I haven't wanted to fight Amelia over anything for a long time. Everything originally belonged to her anyway. Returning things to their rightful owner isn't a bad thing. You don't need to be on edge, or wary, or even come here to confirm anything. All I want now is to live peacefully with my daughter. And oh, my daughter will stay with me. She'll never look for Luis. I can swear on my life that I will never use her to disrupt Amelia and Luis's relationship. You don't need to worry." I looked at him and repeated, "You really don't need to worry." He froze. "I'm not." "Then you're afraid I'll use my old family identity to do something bad?" "Don't worry, I won't. I already changed my surname long ago." "Jessica," he suddenly interrupted. His eyes were red. "Your brother. I want to bring you home." Chapter 7. I couldn't understand what Diego was thinking. I was no longer his family. He had announced that to the public 4 years ago. And what would I go back for? To continue being Amelia's punching bag? I didn't understand why someone of his status insisted on following me back to my tiny one-bedroom, 50-square-meter apartment. After putting Sophia on the bed in the bedroom, I walked to the cabinet and took out a box of tea leaves. But after a moment's thought, I figured someone like him probably wouldn't drink something so cheap. After thinking again, I brought him a bottle of mineral water instead. His gaze landed on my right hand, and his expression showed a hint of bitterness I couldn't understand. "Your fingers, are they better?" I lowered my head. My right hand, my pinky and ring finger no longer moved. One time, when she and I visited a factory, she was curious and discussed a mechanical design with an engineer. To prove her point, she pressed the test run button for the machine. At that moment, my hand was resting exactly where it shouldn't have been. Before the accident, I had been a rising star in piano performance. It was the only thing where I surpassed Amelia. I wasn't as good a student as she was, nor as capable. Only in piano did I have something I could proudly claim. When Amelia first came home, whenever I practiced piano, she would sigh regretfully. "I've loved music since I was little. If I hadn't been switched at birth, I would be able to play the piano too. But I could never step on a stage to play the piano again. I couldn't accept it. I was on the brink of life and death for a long time. I always believed she did it on purpose, so I couldn't stop hating her for taking away the only light I had, until she suddenly attempted suicide. After she was rescued, I suddenly went from victim to perpetrator. I still remember that day. After seeing Amelia, Diego came back, rubbing his forehead, and said to me, "It's just that you can't play anymore. It's just 2 fingers. Did you really have to drive her to her death? Even if you're useless at everything, even if you're not my biological sister, didn't I tell you I'd provide for you your whole life? Did you really have to do this?" Oliver also said coldly, If you two weren't switched, the one who should have been playing piano was Amelia. You're only returning what you stole. How do you even have the nerve to make a fuss? They told me my fingers couldn't recover. That no matter how much I cried, it wouldn't help. But later, at the celebration party for the patent Amelia won, with that very machine design that crushed my fingers, I overheard the doctor tell Diego. I told you back then, Jessica needed immediate overseas rehabilitation. She could have recovered over 90%. But you never took her. Now it's very difficult to restore. Diego replied indifferently, Jessica not playing anymore is good. Amelia has wanted to learn piano since she was little. Seeing Jessica unable to play keeps her balanced emotionally. Besides, even if Jessica is useless, I'll support her anyway. Whether she plays or not doesn't matter. So my dream, my future, to him, they were nothing but a weight to balance Amelia's heart. When did I start fearing him? Probably from that moment. I heard you're teaching music at an institution, he suddenly said. I froze, staring at him with wide eyes. I'm just teaching little kids basic music. It's simple, so I don't need my ring finger or pinky. I never intended to return to the stage. I won't do anything that upsets Amelia. I just need this job to raise my child. And the doctor already said my fingers are permanently damaged. I will never play good piano again in this lifetime. Even so, you still won't allow it? He stiffened. Jessica, I didn't mean. But I couldn't hear anything he said anymore. The terror of having my life ruined once returned in full force. I couldn't lose this hard-earned job just because Amelia might be unhappy, so I desperately showed him my unmoving fingers. Really, I can't play, really can't. Everything that family gave me, I've already returned. If you don't believe me, you can come and bend them, see, they don't move. I was your sister for years. Can't you at least leave me one path to survive? But he panicked, jumped up, and rushed to hold my trembling shoulders. Jessica, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. This time, I will protect you. Trust your brother. But how could I not be afraid? I had finally restarted my life. A life Sam gave up his own life to buy for Sophia and me. No. I pushed him hard. But the more I struggled, the tighter he held me. I hadn't slept all night. In the end, I was no match for his strength. And amid the pushing and pulling, my vision suddenly went dark, and I fainted. Chapter 8. I dreamed of Sam. He still looked the same as in my memories, standing in the courtyard of the guest house at dawn, shaving by the water basin, as he tilted his head and asked, well, if it isn't our Jessica, beloved by all. Zoning out again? There was a scar on his face, giving him a slightly fierce look. I clutched my skirt. I'm out of money. Pregnant women can't find jobs. About the rent, could I owe you a few months? He burst into loud laughter. So that's all? That little frown of yours, I thought the world was ending. Your brother has plenty of empty rooms. What he lacks is someone to bring life into them. Just live here peacefully. At first, he was only my landlord, an early retired police officer due to injury and illness. Later, he became my brother. He was a completely different kind of brother from Diego. He looked careless and rough around the edges, yet he was more attentive than anyone. Whenever any guest encountered trouble, he helped. And when I first met him, I was sensitive, on edge, and tightly wound. He could have ignored me, but he immediately noticed my symptoms of depression and tried everything he could to cheer me up. Jessica, look, your little swallow-shaped kite is flying so high. Jessica, have you eaten yet? I made too many steamed buns today. Come help me finish them. At first, I thought he was a fool. We barely knew each other, and he meddled too much. But slowly, I grew to like him meddling in my life. Unlike Diego's way of throwing money at problems and letting things be, Sam would gently restrain me when my spoiled or arrogant habits surfaced, telling me what was right and what was wrong. And when I finally found a job, he was genuinely happy for me. He drank 2 extra bottles of beer to celebrate, and got scolded by me afterward when he stuck out his tongue. He taught me confidence. He taught me independence. He taught me how to choose the way I wanted to live. He told me, Jessica, there's no hardship in life you can't get through. We were strangers brought together by chance, yet he gave me a real home. Until Sophia was 6 months old, when a massive earthquake struck Nanture. The quake caused fires on the entire street of the guest house neighborhood. After Sam saved Sophia and me, he decisively went back into the flames. I grabbed him, refusing to let him go, but he smiled and said to me, "Jessica, your brother is a police officer. At a time like this, there's no way I can refuse to save people. Don't worry. Your brother will definitely come back." He had always kept his word. But this time, he lied to me. He saved more than a dozen trapped people. But when he went back inside again, he never came out. I don't even have a single photo with him. He always said the scar on his face was ugly and he didn't like taking pictures. Yet he took so many photos of Sophia and me. Chapter 9. I didn't want to wake up. I wanted to see Sam a little longer, but voices woke me. "We searched for her together for 4 years, and now that you found her, you're hiding it from me. What's that supposed to mean?" That voice was Louise. Oliver's voice followed. "What right do you have to see her? Louise, we have a child. Just for that alone, I have more right than any of you. For years, and did you even know the child existed? Did you ever take care of her or the mother?" Diego's voice was icy. "Since you're Amelia's fiancé now, treat her well. My 2 sisters are not commodities for you to pick and choose from." Luis raised his voice. "Diego, do you think you control everything? If you hadn't insisted on punishing Jessica back then, making everyone bully her, forcing her out of the capital, how would she have left? And why did I get engaged to Amelia? If not because you 2 said Jessica pushed her, how would I have felt disappointed enough to agree to change fiancés? You seriously blame it only on what we said?" Oliver sneered. "Luis, weren't you just going with the flow? Dare you say you weren't already tired of my sister and falling for Amelia? And Amelia is the real heiress. Through that engagement, you could secure the inheritance rights, couldn't you? Stop calling her your sister. What kind of brother are you? When she went to find you, you left her standing in the snow all night. If you had taken her in, how would she have been so heartbroken she left? Now you pretend you suddenly care about her?" Oliver was unwilling. "Anyway, I'm the one most qualified to stay by her side. I'm her brother. I'm the one qualified." Diego's voice was cold. "I will take Jessica home. She and the child have nothing to do with either of you. Who agreed to let you take her?" Oliver snapped. "What relationship do you have with her? You're the one who personally cut off the sibling relationship with her. I'm the real younger brother, and I'm the only one who has anything to do with her and the child. Luis, a wolf like you still dares claim you're her brother? Back then, to get you a stage performance, she lowered her pride and begged so many people. And when you became famous, who did you thank first? Amelia. Did you ever mention her name even once? I'm the father of her child. We are the real family. Stop arguing. The patient needs rest. Only one immediate family member stays." A nurse burst in angrily. "I'm her brother," Diego said first. "I'm her younger brother," Oliver quickly added. "You too, sir." The nurse paused. "You are Jessica's brother and younger brother?" An awkward silence. I'm the father of her child," Luis said immediately. "Then you stay," the nurse said impatiently. "The other 2, out." Chapter 10. When I opened my eyes again, I indeed saw Luis. He was sitting by my bed, not moving, just staring at me. After 4 years, he looked much older. I used to truly love this childhood fiancé whom I had grown up with. For years ago, when my bandages were removed and I was discharged, Diego and Oliver were both with Amelia, only Luis came to see me. He was the only one who didn't accuse me like they did. "Jessica, silly girl, I'm here." I threw myself into his arms and cried uncontrollably. "Will you be here forever?" He paused for a moment, then said he would. Maybe to prove that he meant it, that night, he showed it with actions. But in the second half of the night, when I was half asleep, I heard him on the phone, speaking softly and tenderly. "You have to cooperate with the doctor, okay? Otherwise your wrist will scar, it'll look bad. And don't cry so much at night, you'll look worse." I woke up almost instantly. I argued with him, demanding to know why he was calling Amelia behind my back. At first, he tried to soothe me, but as I cried and shouted, his impatience finally broke through. "Jessica, the world doesn't revolve around you. Can't you be sensible like Amelia? And besides, if you 2 hadn't been switched, she would have been my fiancée in the first place." Once he said it, he seemed to realize he'd slipped. He tried to come over to hold me, but I pushed him away and ran out. We fell into a cold war. Maybe he had long grown tired of our steady, unchanging years together. Amelia, so different from me, appearing was like dropping a pebble into a still lake, stirring ripples in his heart. Later, when Amelia accused me of pushing her, he, together with Diego and Oliver, all stood by her side. The rejection from the people closest to me made everyone in the capital believe I was vicious. A fake heiress, taken in kindly by a wealthy family, yet ungrateful and scheming to harm the real daughter. Everyone said that a crow is a crow, even if raised for years in a phoenix's nest, it is still a crow. I became a rat that everyone hated. No matter how many calls I made or messages I sent Luis, he never answered. Until I finally found him and broke down, asking why he didn't believe me either. He stayed silent for a while, then said, "Jessica, you've always been jealous of Amelia, haven't you?" He told me to apologize. Enraged, I grabbed a cup from the table and threw it at him. After that, the one who became engaged to Luis was Amelia. And I, blinded by anger and hatred, became more and more unlike myself. I couldn't understand why Luis changed, why Diego didn't trust me, why Oliver never liked me. I sank into a whirlpool of emotion, unable to escape, unable to breathe, almost walking down the path of ruin. Only much later, after meeting Sam, did I realize I had long been suffering from depression. Chapter 11. Luis looked at me, his eyes red. "Jessica, don't be afraid. I'm here. This time, I will never leave you again." He gently held my cold hand. "The past, it was a misunderstanding. Back then, Amelia fell on her own. It had nothing to do with you. I was blind. I didn't see how scheming she was." I let out a small laugh. "Luis, did you try things with Amelia, realize it didn't work, and now decide to come back to your original fiancé, me?" He froze. No, that's not it. I won't marry her. After you left, I realized, I've always loved you. I'll never leave you again. I'll never let them bully you again. We'll go back to the capital and get married. We'll give Sophia a complete family." I froze, then suddenly sat up sharply. "Where is my daughter?" He quickly pressed my shoulder down. "Don't worry. Sophia is right next door." I looked straight into his eyes. Once upon a time, these affectionate eyes made me dizzy, made me love him to the point of madness. "Luis, Sophia is my daughter alone." He was silent for a moment, then lifted his gaze. "Jessica, I know you resent me." Back then, I was confused for a moment. Later, I realized that what I felt for Amelia was pity. What I felt for you was love. "But I don't love you." I interrupted him coldly. He refused to believe it. "You don't love me? If you didn't love me, why would you insist on giving birth to my child even while suffering so much? Jessica, don't lie to yourself. You clearly love." I suddenly laughed. "Luis, where does your confidence come from? To think I can't live without you for the rest of my life? And where does your confidence come from to believe that after 4 years, just because you say you want me, I'll fall to my knees with gratitude and follow you?" He froze. "And besides, I didn't give birth to my daughter out of any lingering feelings for you. I just wanted a blood relative of my own. In these 4 years, I never once thought of you." "That's impossible." He grabbed my hand. "For years, every day and night I thought about you. People said you died, I didn't believe it. I kept searching. We clearly loved each other. We grew up together. All those beautiful memories. Those memories only disgust me now." His face went pale. His eyes reddened even more. You're just saying that out of anger." "Get out," I said. "Sam once told me, never waste time tangling with someone whose brain isn't right." Luis stared at me in disbelief. "Why what did you say? You used to, you weren't like this." "Yes. The Jessica from before loved him, relied on him, obeyed him. But I was no longer that Jessica." Our argument had clearly spread outside, because Diego and Oliver soon burst into the ward. "Jessica, come home with your brother. I'll protect you. Sis, come with me. We're the real family." I looked at the 3 of them quietly. Once upon a time, they pushed me into the abyss. And now, one by one, they came offering pity, wanting me to go back with them. "My brother once told me something." The 3 paused, And Diego's eyes even showed a faint trace of expectation. He said that I don't need to depend on anyone, that I am a brilliant, radiant girl all on my own. Diego's face instantly darkened. Because he had never said such words to me. So put away those savior expressions. Right now, I don't need any of you. Chapter 12 inches. The days that followed, the three of them investigated everyone around me like madmen. Sam's story wasn't a secret. His heroic rescue had been reported in the news. He was a city hero. Every year on his death anniversary, the people he saved would visit his grave on their own. Oliver often came to the neighborhood. I wouldn't let him in, so he would stand downstairs and leave many gifts at my door for Sophia and me. His tone had become much gentler too. He even called me sister, and somehow found out that I liked flying kites, so he made a swallow-shaped kite and brought it to me. Diego also came. When I refused to see him, he sent a nanny and a housekeeper. He even wanted to get me a larger house. He certainly had financial power. That was also how he raised me in the past. But now, I rejected all of it. The most persistent was Luis. He simply moved into the neighborhood. He came every day, trying to acknowledge Sophia as his child. After I scolded him thoroughly, he finally behaved himself, but would still watch from afar with reddened eyes. Soon, it was Sophia's birthday. She had many friends in the neighborhood and had long been looking forward to her 4th birthday party. Diego, Oliver, and Luis all showed up uninvited. Because many neighbors and children that I was close to also came, I didn't want to disappoint Sophia, so I didn't throw the 3 of them out. You could tell they were pleasantly surprised. But right before the food was to be served, a cheerful female voice came from the doorway. "Oh my, am I late?" All 3 men's expressions immediately darkened. I turned around. It was Amelia. Chapter 13. Amelia walked in carrying a gift box, dressed in an extravagant Chanel-style dress, stepping in on high heels. "Auntie, you need to take off your shoes before coming in," Sophia said in her milky little voice. Amelia raised an eyebrow. "Oh, little girl, your auntie is mommy's dear sister. The tiles in your home aren't even as expensive as my shoes together, so I don't need to take them off, right, Jessica?" After 4 years, she was still as aggressive as ever. I calmly reminded her, "Amelia, today is my daughter's birthday." "I know." She sat down on her own and smiled brightly, her red lips curling. "Otherwise why would my brother, my younger brother, and my fiancé all be here with you?" The neighbors were stunned, the room suddenly quiet. She covered her mouth dramatically. "Oh my, looks like everyone didn't know. Jessica, oh no, you changed your name now, right? Her child's father is my fiancé. Some people really have skill, occupying my identity for more than 20 years, and after everything returned to its rightful place, still unwilling to give up. Secretly seducing my fiancé and getting pregnant, and now using the child to hook my brother, my younger brother, and my fiancé. Amelia, are you crazy?" Luis immediately stood up. "Who told you to come? Leave now." "What? Afraid I'll expose your dirty laundry? You don't want me to talk? I'll talk anyway. If this were ancient times, this child would have to call me mother. She's an illegitimate child in the shadows, and I'm the main wife. So why can't I come congratulate her birthday? Amelia, go home with me." Diego also stood up and grabbed her arm. "Stop making a scene. I'm not leaving." She jerked away violently. "Are you even my brother? She's not your real sister. Why are you treating her so well? Have you forgotten the suffering I went through? What are you even doing?" Oliver stepped forward too. "Today is Sophia's birthday. We finally... Are all 3 of you insane?" Amelia suddenly shouted even louder, nearly hysterical. "I am the one who is your real sister, Diego. I am your fiancé, Luis. And I am the sister who suffered alongside you, Oliver, for more than 20 years. Do you 3 deserve me?" Sophia was terrified and looked up at me. I immediately covered her ears tightly and carried her back to the bedroom. Chapter 14. Sophia, stay in the room and wait for mommy to come back, okay? She nodded. "Mommy, that auntie is scary. And ugly." I patted her head, stood up, and closed the door. In the living room, most of the neighbors had already left. Only Amelia and the 3 men remained. Her once perfect hairstyle was messy now. The look she gave me was filled with hatred. "You think you've won, don't you? You must feel so proud, making them unable to forget you, making them search for you all this time. I've never seen anyone as shameless as you. A counterfeit. What right do you have to seduce them? Amelia, shut up. Diego trembled all over. When are you going to stop? Luis grabbed her arm. Come with me. Let go. Let go. She tore herself free and threw herself toward Oliver. We've gone through everything together for more than 20 years. You've only known her for a few years. Why did you betray me too? But Oliver only turned his face away. Amelia, you can't want everything. You were drunk when you admitted it yourself, that you intentionally injured her hand so she couldn't play piano, that you faked a suicide attempt to gain sympathy, and later even staged that fall from the stairs act to frame her and push her out of the house. You hated her for taking your life, but she was innocent too. You two being switched at birth wasn't her fault. Was it my fault then? Am I not innocent? Everything was mine to begin with. I took it back. What's wrong with that? She jabbed a finger at me. You all think she's so pure. She faked her death on purpose and secretly had a baby. She pretends to be pitiful because she wants to come back. She wants to replace me. Why can't you see it? Enough. Have you completely lost your mind? Diego roared. His voice shook. If I had known you'd still turn out like this after all the years I spent making it up to you, then back then I shouldn't have switched you back. What did you say? Amelia froze. She looked at the other two, laughing and crying at the same time. You think that too? Tears fell from her eyes like broken pearls. How could you do this to me? How could you? I stepped forward. In the past, so many times, I had fallen because of her tears. They would say, Jessica, what you have should have been hers. Her past was too tragic. You must give in to her. But this time, even though she wept non-stop, all three of them looked at me nervously. Jessica, let me take you and Sophia away first, Diego said anxiously. Don't worry, I'll handle this. I shook my head. I walked straight to Amelia. The grudges between us needed an ending. I lifted my hand and brushed aside the loose strands of hair on her cheek. Then, pa. A loud slap. She froze, covering her face, looking at me in disbelief. You actually dared to hit me? I said calmly, Amelia, the reason I tolerated you before was because I really did take your identity for more than 20 years. And especially after learning that you lived in poverty all those years, drifting around with Oliver. I truly felt guilty, like I stole your identity, stole your happiness. But 4 years ago, I already returned everything to you. I took your identity, and you hurt me, we're already even. I pointed at the 3 men. And those 3, they are your brother, your younger brother, and your fiancé. I never wanted to steal them from you. I never cared for them. But today you came here and frightened my daughter. For that, I cannot forgive you. I lifted my hand and slapped her right cheek again. Her head snapped to the side from the impact. These 2 slaps are for my daughter. As for the grievances among the 4 of you, I want no part in it anymore. But if you ever dare do anything to hurt my daughter again, I will fight you to the end. She stared at me blankly, then suddenly turned toward them. Did you see that? She hit me. She bullied me right in front of you. She's a vicious fake. And you still like her? She screamed hysterically, are you all insane? This is her true face. The room fell silent. You idiots. You'll regret this. She ran out crying, but immediately missed a step and fell down the stairs. With a loud thud, a painful groan came from below. But this time, the 3 men didn't move at all, they simply stared straight at me. I sighed. She's hurt. You should go. But they still didn't move. Sorry, Jessica, we really didn't know she would come. Yes, we didn't know. It's fine. It's better this way. Everything has been said clearly. I replied calmly. Luis's face turned pale. He reached out as if to stop me. No, Jessica, don't say it, please. I shook my head and looked at them steadily. I have no brother, no younger brother, and no fiancé. My life now is good, far better than before. I don't need your pity, and I don't need your salvation. Your delayed guilt or love only brings trouble to me and disrupts my life. The only family I have in this lifetime is Sophia, and my brother Sam. Diego spoke with difficulty, but Jessica, he's already gone. He would want someone to take care of you, not to see you struggling as a single mother. I shook my head. You're wrong. What he taught me was independence. So you don't need to worry. My life isn't difficult at all. In fact, it's happier than ever. Oliver suddenly burst into tears. But we finally found you. And now you don't want us anymore. I looked toward the blue sky outside the window. Yes. This time, I was the one who didn't want them. Chapter 15. I thought I had made myself perfectly clear. But the three of them still refused to leave. After the birthday party, they kept coming by, trying to persuade me to change my mind and return to the capital with them. Amelia had truly broken her leg this time, and after her outburst, the rumor that Sophia was an illegitimate child began spreading through our neighborhood. I submitted my resignation and prepared to take my daughter to another city. The director of the institute was very reluctant to let me go. Teacher, you're young, but parents rated you the highest. Are you sure you don't want to reconsider? I shook my head. I'm already grateful that you gave someone like me, a person with a damaged right hand, a chance back then. But for my daughter, I need to change our environment. She thought for a moment, then suddenly asked, then, would you consider Haichang? It's by the sea, the climate is mild, children love it there. I'm planning to open a branch there. Would you like to be the academic director? You're such a talent. I truly hate to see you leave. I agreed. The day before leaving, Diego came to see me. Jessica, you don't have to move just to avoid us. I smiled and asked him, then can you stop appearing in front of me? He was silent for a long time, then lowered his head painfully. If your brother still wants to do something for you, would you allow it? Holding Sophia's hand, I smiled softly. Thank you, but there's no need. Sophia looked up. Uncle, are you done? Mommy and I are going to see my uncle. His expression stiffened. Yes. We were going to visit Sam's grave. I brought several brands of beer and sat in front of the grave for a long time. I told him I was moving to Haicheng, that I was improving bit by bit, that my work was being recognized, and that Sophia was growing well. He would definitely be proud of me. And now, he must finally be able to drink beer freely, without worrying about his health worsening. The next day, I took Sophia to the airport. On the big airport screen, I saw Oliver's interview. The person I'm most grateful to is my real sister. Back when I was just a nobody, not one company wanted to sign me. It was my sister who helped me, supported me, encouraged me. She's the reason I am who I am today. But later, I treated her terribly. I want to tell her. I'm sorry. Sophia pointed at Oliver. Mommy, it's that uncle who looks a bit like you. I patted her head. Let's board. After arriving in Haicheng, my life returned to a stable path. I worked hard, lived seriously, and 6 months later, I was promoted to principal of the branch. Because the students liked me, some of my teaching clips were posted online. Then, someone dug up old videos of my performances years ago. Someone wondered why I no longer played piano professionally. And then, someone else leaked the truth, that Amelia had caused the injury that stopped me from ever playing complicated pieces again. In an instant, the name Amelia became synonymous with villainous online, and she was completely abandoned by the social circles of the capital. Diego's company stock was affected as well, suffering enormous losses. Someone also found Oliver's previous apology interview and connected the dots, discovering that I was the sister he mentioned. Public opinion erupted. Oliver then announced that he would take a hiatus from the music scene due to his poor mental state. A year later, I stepped onto the stage of an international competition with my students, and became a renowned music mentor. I truly could no longer perform complex piano pieces. But nothing could stop me from shining in another way. Luis still came often. He would leave the gifts he brought for Sophia at the door, then watch us from a distance. I had gotten used to it and couldn't be bothered to chase him away anymore. One day, I saw Diego again. He looked much older. He handed me a key. I know you've been saving money to restore Sam's little courtyard. I've rebuilt it for you. Don't refuse. Just think of it as your brother compensating you. You love that place. Go there whenever you want. And also, he hesitated, Luis and Amelia's engagement has officially been cancelled. Luis didn't get the inheritance. You know his older brother always disliked him. His future won't be good. I've sent Amelia away. Her condition, she needs long-term psychiatric treatment. I restored your room at home to how it used to be. If you want to come back, anytime, the door is open. I shook my head. Thank you for restoring my brother's courtyard. But you're home. I won't go back. He didn't insist. He only said softly, I'll always keep that room for you. During summer break, I took Sophia back to Nanshire and visited Sam's courtyard. Standing at the entrance, time seemed to rewind to 5 years ago, to an ordinary morning. Under the jujube tree in the courtyard, Sam picked up the kite I had painted and smiled. Try it, Jessica. As long as you believe, it can fly high. And now, I truly had flown high. I picked up Sophia, gently pushed open the gate. Brother, I'm back. It started after Amelia returned home.